What is up, guys? My name is Bryce Pruitt, this is the M1 Journey, and welcome to the channel. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 16 of the M1 Journey. I apologize last week that I did not get to make a Let's Discuss video. Just some things came up that didn't allow me to create the video, but I will be getting back to that this week. This Thursday I'll actually be talking about an investing topic, specifically the term dogs of the Dow. Just going to talk a little bit about what that means and how you can apply that into your investing strategy to help you pick up a little bit more in dividends each year. So that's just a little bit about that. Again, my apologies for that. Just had some things come up and didn't allow me to make a video. So just wanted to address that right off the top. As far as the markets kind of threw me a little bit for a loop this week, to be honest. After all the events that transpired, I'm sure all of you are well aware, between the election and then what happened in DC, kind of a tumultuous week, but the markets have stayed pretty green, very resilient. So all things considered, seems to be full steam ahead, nothing to slow down this market rally that we've seen continue since really the summer, and especially since November. But I'll kind of talk about some of that more in my portfolio update, and then I'm going to kind of close the video by talking about something I've never talked about before, and admittedly I'm not knowledgeable about, and that's the cryptocurrency market. I'm sure some of you have seen today, Monday, has been a very, very bad day for the crypto market, and I'm going to address that a little bit to share some of my thoughts. But as far as anything else new with the channel, there's not really much there. Just still follow my Instagram and Twitter to kind of share my thoughts there from time to time when I'm not making videos, as well as like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate your guys' support. So with that being said, I'll do my disclaimer and we'll take a look at the portfolio. So of course, as always guys, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an expert. Everything you hear me say is strictly of my own opinion. Please do your own due diligence and research before making any investment decisions. That's really an important point to make, that I'm just doing this for your entertainment. So now that I got that out of the way, let's take a look at the portfolio. Alright guys, so for the week, as you can kind of see right off the bat, it was a pretty solid week all around. We're up about $500 or 2.4%, which is a very good week overall, considering again everything that happened. We earned about $30 in dividends. That should be coming probably in the next couple of weeks or so. For the day though, we are down just slightly. Kind of a mixed day in the market, a little flat overall, but nothing to be too alarmed about. For the month though, still looking pretty steady. Most of the increase over the last month or so has been in the last week. For the quarter though, still an outstanding quarter. We're up over 12%, which is almost 2,200. And then all time since we've been on M1 Finance, about 25%. Taken into consideration, this is just since July 2nd, so really huge returns, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it. Over the last week, we've seen very solid returns everywhere you look, most notably in my dividends, specifically in energy. This whole entire pie itself is up 12.5%, which is so remarkable. ExxonMobil leading the way at 13.33% over just the last week alone. If you remember early on in some of my early videos, Exxon was one of my really beaten up stocks, and I've kind of believed in it all the way through. Almost wish I would have bought more when it was around $30 a share, but as you can see, it's all the way rallied up to 47.03. Kind of just take a little bit of a deeper look here. Over the last 3 months or so, it's up 34%. Like I said, it was down here for a long time in October, and it's been on a real rally since. So really happy to see that. I'm still down in this position, but I'm getting really close to breaking even. Kind of check out some other things here in my long-term portfolio. Another stock I wanted to highlight was in my growth over the last week, and that is Target. Target is up almost 12% on the week as well. Procter & Gamble just barely breaking even there. So another huge gainer, but some more I needed to highlight in my aggressive portfolio. It's kind of held true to what I thought it would be in being a very volatile portfolio. Over the last week, it's up about 8%. Some of my positions have just been going crazy here. DraftKings is up 20% in the last week. Workhorse 22%. Teladoc's up 10.5%, and Roku is up nearly 30% over the last week. So really huge gains. My only regret is I wish I had more of these stocks, but this is a position, or at least a portfolio, that I'm very comfortable with right now, that I'm just glad I started it all. We'll kind of see what happens. All time I'm up about 7.5%, and that's only in about a month's time, so really huge returns there that I'm just very happy to see. We'll check up on my Roth IRA here, see how it's performing. As you can see, all time I'm still up 11.24%, which is about $150, but over the last week up about 1.12%, and then for the month up about 1.55%, and over the last 3 or so months still really big returns at 6.88%, which is really good for a Roth IRA. As far as some of my activity for the week, I only had one dividend, which was Pepsi, and the same goes for my long-term portfolio. Pepsi was my only dividend in both. I made my bi-weekly deposit, as you can see here. Just kind of the same old stuff that always happens. I always let this one auto invest my $100 deposit, and then in my long-term portfolio I was a little bit more aggressive. As you can see here, that cash that I had on hand in last week's video, I ended up investing into 5 different things that I set myself. I bought some more of my SPYD ETF, Pepsi, McDonald's, IBM, and Microsoft. So some of these have kind of been beaten up a little bit recently, so I wanted to buy them on the minor dips that all of them were on. And then actually again this morning, futures were down a little bit, so I saw an opportunity to buy some more Pepsi and McDonald's and Realty Income. Realty Income's kind of had a flat last month or so, if not down a little bit, so I wanted to pick up another share or so since it was below $60. Thought that's a great buying point for them. So that's kind of some of my activity I've had for the week. If I go to my Excel spreadsheet, my updated totals, well, this isn't fully updated because this doesn't take into consideration today's Roth IRA purchases, but my long-term portfolio dividends are up to a little over $660, so still looking strong there. And then with this week's purchases in my long-term portfolio, I invested about $350, and I got back almost $13 in annual dividends for a dividend yield of 3.62%, which is very strong and a number I'm very happy with in this the pricing of this current market. So that's kind of some of my activities for the week. Nothing too crazy, but I was a little bit more aggressive this week than I had been in the month or so prior. That kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about for this portfolio update, so I'll move into my closing statements now. So guys, that's going to kind of wrap things up for this video, but like I said at the beginning, I did want to kind of address the cryptocurrency situation. Just full disclosure, I am not very knowledgeable about cryptocurrency and the markets that surround it, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it today. If you haven't seen, there's been a huge drop off in almost every currency's price. It's come back a little bit since the early hours of this morning, but still we're seeing a 10 to 20, almost 30 or so points off of some of the major currencies. I've seen some theories online as to why that is. Some of the major holders of these currencies are having a major sell-off to kind of squash some of the value, because as we've seen over the past couple months, I mean, the tear, especially like Bitcoin and some of the others have been just out of this world, really. And I think some of the major players in that field may be dumping off some of their currency to lock in some of their profits. I've seen that theory floated around. Admittedly, I don't really have too many of my original thoughts on this. I'm actually kind of more putting this out to you guys. I should kind of share your thoughts about why this is happening, or is this a one-time thing or one day? I mean, I know that market's very volatile. It's a very day-to-day, almost hour-to-hour market. But I just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts, because like I said, I'm not very knowledgeable on crypto. That's kind of out of my realm a little bit. So I've held very small positions in some crypto in the past, like Bitcoin. A couple years ago, I had a very, very small position that I made a few dollars, but nothing like what we've seen recently. So I'm kind of considering getting back into the crypto game a little bit. I kind of want to hear some of your guys' suggestions, but kind of looking into, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, stuff like that. But I just, again, share your thoughts. Let me know, kind of just looking for some pointers on how to approach the crypto market, because it is so volatile, and it just kind of, I'm out a little bit out of my depth when it comes to that. But we'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure many of you are pretty interested in crypto, and I thought it'd be kind of nice to touch on it a little bit, since it is the hottest thing out there right now for any new investors. We'll kind of keep an eye on it and see what happens, and maybe I'll jump back in, who knows. But that's going to kind of wrap up this video for this week. Of course, like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. I really, really appreciate the support. I don't really have a viewer question of the week, because that's pretty much just what are your thoughts about cryptocurrencies, and kind of helping me learn a little bit from you guys this time around. Of course, if you want to sign up on M1 Finance, please do so using the link in the description. When you use my link and make your first deposit and create your account, of course, you'll get $10 for them just for doing that. No questions asked there. So that's kind of it for this video, at least. Look out for the video on Thursday. Hopefully nothing else will come up. So catch you on Thursday. Thanks, guys.